On behalf of all of the faculty at Trinity College, welcome. You are here to learn, and we are here to teach you. We take enormous pride and satisfaction in teaching you well. We hope you will take equal pride and satisfaction in your education. Convocation is like a miniature graduation. I stand before you resplendent in my academic gown. The next time you see me wearing this might very well be your own graduation in 4 years' time, we hope. Academic gowns have evolved from functional garments in medieval European universities to ceremonial ones. They are a quirky reminder that we are carriers of centuries of academic curiosity, discipline, and achievement. I remember distinctly what I was wearing on my first day of college years ago, and it was not a Nest t-shirt. It was a white sleeveless top, khaki-colored shorts, and black sandals. The reason I remember this is because when I met my roommate for the first time, she was wearing the exact same thing, down to the brand of shorts. I have to add, this is before Facebook. I did not know what she looked like. We looked at each other and said, "Oh my God, that is so funny." And then my mother took a photo of us with a camera with film. Some students in our dorm teased us for a few weeks. They called us the twins, which was extra funny because she was 6 inches shorter than me. I am 5'4". We thought it was crazy that we could wear the exact same clothes when I had gone to high school in England and she had gone to high school in California. But now I'm a big shot history professor and I teach the history of global trade. I know that this is not crazy at all because over the second half of the 20th century, there was a global trend towards homogenization in dress. Let me give you some examples of how different academic subjects that you will encounter at Trinity might respond to my story. 2 women, different sides of the world, same clothing. For my part, as a historian of Britain, I would start in the 18th century. If you take my introductory British history class, anyone signed up? 3 spots left. We will start with the Industrial Revolution, when innovations in spinning and weaving led to the creation of massive textile mills in the United Kingdom. This had an immediate effect on millions of people across 4 continents. For example, it severely disrupted the weaving industry in northern India, while encouraging the growth of cotton plantations and African slavery in the American South. Cheap cloth was then sold back in India, which was becoming a British colony. That's why when Mohandas Gandhi began his resistance campaigns in the early 20th century, he made a point of rejecting British dress, which had become common across the British Empire, and instead wore homespun cloth. He made the image of the spinning wheel the symbol of his movement. It was a statement of independence and self-reliance. Clothing is laden with meaning. Of course, if you really want to understand that meaning, you should take a class in cultural anthropology. Because one thing anthropologists explain really well is how symbols operate within cultures, and how cultures resist and adapt to globalization and social change. A sociologist might ask what social forces influence our choice of clothing, might argue that clothing is a means of identifying with a particular group of society, let's call it a nest. On the other hand, I have colleagues in psychology and neuroscience who study perception and decision-making. They understand how our brains differentiate and choose. For them, choice means something different. A political scientist might consider what my story tells us about how the international clothing companies operate across borders. Does this mean that the international system is more cooperative than combative? We're in the economist territory if we want to know whether my roommate and I paid the same amount across different currencies for the same pair of shorts. An environmental scientist might warn us about pollutants used in textile manufacturing. A geographer might point out the disproportionate effects such pollution has on the world's poorest communities. To research these questions effectively, you'll need knowledge of other languages. That's one reason Trinity has a foreign language requirement and a math requirement so you can analyze your data. What if you were interested in the clothing itself? You would need to understand aesthetics, the study of the nature of beauty. So you should take a class in the fine arts, in art history, in literary theory, or in philosophy. If you take a class in women and gender studies, or classics, or religious studies, you might ask yourself, under what circumstances is it acceptable for young women to wear shorts, to bare their legs? My chemistry wished to remind you, for safety reasons, you cannot wear shorts or sandals in A few of you are thinking, but I came here to study engineering. Well, remember, you will all take classes in the humanities, social sciences, arts, and sciences. That is the brilliance of the liberal arts. But I would also return to my earlier point. To understand the clothing that I wore in the late 1990s, we should start with the Industrial Revolution, a triumph of engineering. Why did the Industrial Revolution start in Britain? Historians disagree. One theory, though, is that Britain's universities had a culture of critical inquiry, an educational culture that encouraged students to ask questions about their world and to seek solutions in problems. And thus, we come full circle. My point is that every academic subject approaches a problem differently and provides its own discipline and structure to ask questions and to find useful answers. You will be exposed to many different ways of thinking across the Trinity curriculum. As a Trinity student, you can do better than to respond to life's mysteries with, "Oh my God, that is so funny." You may be wondering what happened with my roommate. We thought we would be best friends. We had the same shorts. We had a lot of fun together. She was a French major, and she helped me with my French homework. But we were not soulmates. In Hamlet, Laertes tells his son Polonius, "The apparel oft proclaims the man." But our identical outfits were really just proclaiming that we shopped at the same stores, not that we shared the same interests, values, or ambitions. I learned a lot from my roommate. Fundamentally, I learned never to underestimate a 4'10" French-speaking Californian woman. But more broadly, that is a lesson I carry to this day. But more broadly, I learned to look beyond appearances. So I have two requests to make of you today. First, use your education to seek deeper understanding of the world around you. Apply the critical thinking you will learn in all of your Trinity classes to your life, from the mundane objects like your pair of shorts to the deeper questions about your existence. Do it every single day. Start now. Second, be open to people who do not look like you. We all seek out what is comfortable and familiar when we find ourselves in unfamiliar circumstances. But appearances can be deceptive. When we limit ourselves to what is familiar, we overlook what is new, exciting, and exceptional. We professors have a saying, if you are too comfortable, you are probably not learning. And learning is so deeply satisfying. On behalf of all the faculty, welcome to Trinity.